What is going on, guys? If y'all clicked on this video, y'all saw the title, I know why you're here. Before you start hating on me, hear me out. I know what y'all are thinking. Who's this guy on his R1 with the fanny pack telling me my 600, the most loved street bike out there, is terrible? I'm here to tell you right now, I'm not telling you your bike is terrible. I just don't think it's the best option out there as far as sport bike goes for the street. I can hear you 600 guys argue with me already because I brought this topic up to one of my buddies who has a ZX6, Cobbert. Y'all probably seen him in a few videos. And his first comment to me was, says the guy on a 1000. Stand by, boys, we got a community service officer. Got to be on my best behavior. Got the state troop out too. Oh man. Oh my gosh, there's another cop. I'm gonna have to settle down, boys. They're out to get me. So yes, I am on an R1. Yes, it is 1000cc. And I know there's probably more of an argument for leader bikes being worse street bikes than there are for 600s being worse street bikes. But like I said, hear me out, because I think a little bit differently now that I've been on the R1 for a whopping 3,000 miles, which by the way, we're taking her to get her first service on Saturday. Today is Thursday. So I know I'm a little bit of a professional with the 1000cc bikes. I got 3,000 miles in on one, and these 3,000 miles has changed my perspective a little bit. I think it's pretty good bike for the street, man. Let me stop and get some gas real quick, because the R1 doesn't got a fuel gauge, which makes it great for the street. But let me stop and get some fuel real quick, and then let me speak my case before y'all start hating on me, okay? Stay tuned. There's a state trooper over there. There he goes. So yeah, the reason that I think 600s are not good bikes for the street, number one, they just freaking suck. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't think 600s suck. I think they're great bikes. I just think what they're made for and the way they make their power and the capabilities are not suited the best for the street. I think 600s make far superior track bikes, and you could make the same argument about 1000cc's, but the big difference between the 600s and the 1000s are the power. I mean, the argument that people make about 1000cc's being way too overpowered for the street, and you don't need that much power for the street, and whatever, you know, y'all know that argument. You could easily make the same argument for a 600, right? I mean, 600s top out probably about 160-ish, somewhere in the ballpark. Don't tell me your 600 tops out at 180, because I'm not going to believe you. But that's 160 is still very fast for the street. That's still felony, go to jail for a long time speed. So that argument about 1000cc's are too fast for the street is valid, but it's also valid for a 600. So you can't really use that argument as a fair argument as to why, you know, you don't want to ride 1000 but you're going to ride a 600. Okay, so we got that out of the way. But on that same note, the power band on a 600 is very different from that of 1,000, right? So my R1 red lines at about 14 and a half, okay? A 600, you know, give or take, depending on the bike, red line about 18 maybe. So at least 4,000 more than my leader bike. I want to make sure that's not a cop behind me. So what that has to do with the power band, the like low in the power band on a 600, you have like no power. I've ridden 600s. I never owned a 600. Let me get that out of the way. Full disclaimer, I've never owned a 600, but I have ridden 600s enough to know how they ride and how they feel, power band of a 600, all that stuff. I understand 600s. I've just never owned one. Low down in the revs on a 600. Okay, anyway, low down in the revs on the 600, you have like no power. Like pretty much anywhere on my R1, I have power. I'm sitting right about 5,000, maybe a little less than 5,000 right now in second gear. And if I lay into the throttle, I'm scooting, I'm going. Even though I'm not in the power band, the power band on my R1 is about 7,000 to 8,000. Once I hit 7,000 to 8,000, you might as well put me on SpaceX rocket ship, because that's how fast this thing's gonna launch. But I still have power low down. Like on the 600, you don't have that. And where I feel like that's bad on the street for a 600 is if you're in a sticky situation, car cuts you off or whatever the situation might be, and you're low down in the revs. Oh my god, another cop. Best behavior, boys, best behavior. And of course he's going the direction I'm going. Jeez. Anyways, back to my point. Being on a 600, if you're low in those revs and you're in a sticky situation and you need to move fast, you can't. You just cannot. Your bike does not have that much power low down. It has 600s have very minimal torque, and I'm not knocking on you 600s because you know you like what you like. I enjoy any bike. I just don't think they're that practical for the street because of situations like that. And they do have power. Like I said before, 600s do have power. They are fast, but only at the top. So unless you're sitting there screaming at the top end of your rev limiter, or your rev range, I'm sorry, on your 600, you don't have power. And I don't know, maybe just me, but I don't want to sit there everywhere I'm going just so I could be like have power. You know, like when I'm on my R1, like I said, my power band starts about 7,000 to 8,000. Once I hit 7,000 to 8,000, that joker it goes, but it goes below that too. So usually I try to ride around in that like 7,000 range. Neutral. Pay attention. But typically when I'm riding around, like right now, I try to stay just below that power band. So if I lay into the throttle, I'm going. Or if I really want to be spicy, I downshift and I'm really going, you know? But either way, I feel like no matter where I'm at in my rev range on my R1, I have power. So like, I don't know, like if there's whatever kind of situation you could think of where I might need to get out of the way quick, it's endless. Possibilities are endless. I feel comfortable to do that on the R1. Where on a 600 I don't, and I feel like that's my biggest thing. So like I said, I feel like I've only had the R1, I've only been riding 1,000 for 3 months, so it doesn't make me an expert by any means, you know. But I think in these 3,000 miles, I figured out the bike, and I understand the thousands a little bit better now. And when I first got it, and I was first putting in those beginning miles with it, honestly, I wasn't that big of a fan because it's a 1000, right? It's an R1. It's super like hunched over, aggressive, uncomfortable, and yeah, it's really fast. But once you learn how to accommodate with that and control your power and all that stuff, I think this bike is great. Like, you know, just commuting on the R1, I don't think it's that bad anymore. For some people, especially when you first get on it, yeah, it's terrible. Like before, when I had my MT-09, I really believe the MT-09 is one of the best bikes you could get for the street, all around. In overall points, I think the MT-09 wins, in my experience. I'm just talking about sport bikes today. I'm not talking about cruisers and Harleys and that kind of thing, because I don't have any experience with that. But I'm just talking about sport bikes. I think the MT-09 in overall points, in my experience, is the best bike for the street. But when I had my MT-09 in a category or an area that I felt like it always lacked and I was always frustrated with, is the highway. Like, the MT-09 never had enough power for the highway. I couldn't keep up with any of my buddies, and there's no wind protection. So I'll constantly getting just beat up on the highway on my MT-09. But everywhere else, and in the town, just piddling around, whatever, my MT-09 was great. And even on the highway, it's not that bad, you know. If I'm just cruising on the highway, MT-09 is not bad. But now that I've been on the R1 for a little while, I think it's better than the MT-09. Like, yeah, it's way more aggressive and uncomfortable than the MT-09, but I've gotten used to it to where it's really not that bad. And the R1 can do everything the MT-09 can do and more. You know, like in town, once you learn to control your throttle and your power, like how I'm doing right now, I'm just piddling. Like, I'm fine. I'm not uncomfortable at all right now. I'm doing just fine, and I have more than enough power to do whatever I want to do right here in this 35-mile-an-hour zone, right? But where the R1 picks up where the MT-09 lacks is on the highway as well. Not only is the R1 just good, or not even just the R1, but any 1000cc bike good in town like this, it shines on the interstate. What you doing, bro? And riding on the interstate is even better, because, you know, once you're going those highway speeds or faster, the body position really doesn't affect you. Like, it's not uncomfortable at all, because the wind kind of holds you up. So the gist of this video is not that I think 600cc's are bad bikes, right? I love 600s, they're fun. I just don't think they're the best street bike. I think, and this is a controversial opinion, I know, but again, it's just my opinion. A lot of you are going to disagree with me. I think 1000cc bikes take the lead. I think 1000cc bikes are the best kind of sport bike for the street. Does not mean they're the best sport bike for everybody, right? So depending on your skill level and riding experience, a 1000cc bike could be the worst bike for the street for you, right? But overall, let's take experience out of it. I think 1000cc bikes, performance-wise, are the best for the street. And again, because I don't want you 600 guys to get too upset with me and think I'm saying your bike is slow. I don't think 600s are slow. That's not what I'm saying. 600s are fast, okay? 160 miles an hour on a public road is fast, all right? All I'm saying is your power band and your rev range is not ideal for the street. That's my biggest thing, is it just, the lack of torque and power low down, which is a majority of the time where you're going to be on the street, is not good. I don't think it's the safest thing, you know, not being able to have power to, you know, get out of sticky situations quickly and whatnot. If I have any new guys watching this, I don't want y'all to take my advice saying you guys should go get a 1000 because it's safer, because that's not what I'm saying. Again, if you take skill level out of the equation, I think 1000 is the best overall. But if you're new It is absolutely not. That 600, regardless, is, I don't think it's. If you're new, get yourself a 300 or a 400. That's the best bike for you. Don't go get yourself a 1,000. Please. Don't take my advice as that, because that's not what I'm saying. Alright, that's pretty much it. That's my gist. What do you guys think? Do y'all agree with me that 600s are probably not the best street bike as far as sport bike goes? I know y'all probably don't agree with me. The majority is not going to. That's just my opinion. Again, 600s, don't get your feelings hurt. I'm not knocking on you. I think 600s are great bikes. I just don't think they're the best for the street. But as I promised you guys, I'm gonna have 2 videos out this week. We had the one come out on Monday. This one will come out again sometime this week. But tomorrow night, we're gonna be meeting up with the boys, and we're gonna get rowdy. We're gonna do a faster paced night ride. We might hit them bridges again, but actually do a proper good fast paced ride this time. So you guys stay tuned. We got some more interesting riding to come. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, you guys stay safe, ride safe. Until the next one. There's a 4th gear roller, 6,000 RPM from 70. I couldn't even get all the way up to the rev limiter. 600 can't do that.